Let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the medical premise behind some incredibly popular content from Dr. Michael Rowe about fixing a bulging disc. You know, if you've ever dealt with that sudden take-your-breath-away lower back pain, you know it literally takes over your life. You can't sit, you can't stand, and sleeping is pretty much out of the question. So today, we're zooming in on a specific approach from the Spine Care Decompression and Chiropractic Center that has, frankly, captivated millions. We'll break down exactly what this source material teaches about our spinal mechanics and how it claims to offer relief for one of the most stubborn human ailments out there.
I mean, just look at that number. Over 3.4 million views. It's wild, right? But it brilliantly illustrates just how many of us are desperately searching for immediate, at-home relief for lower back pain. It's a staggering metric. It tells us that back pain isn't just some niche issue. It's a massive, everyday struggle for a huge chunk of the population. When medical info hits an audience this big, you just know the message is deeply resonating with the very real pain people are waking up with every single day.
All right, let's look at Section 1, the promise of instant relief.
Notice that bold, capitalized promise, relief in seconds? That is one heck of a powerful hook for anyone stuck in acute discomfort. When you have a bulging disc, a day feels like a week, right? And the standard medical advice of resting for 6 to 8 weeks, that can just sound absolutely demoralizing. So when a clinical professional steps up and says the mechanics of your pain can be changed in a matter of seconds, well, it immediately grabs your attention. It flips the script from just enduring long-term suffering to actually taking immediate proactive action.
Moving on to Section 2, the root of the pain.
To really get why this promise of instant relief is so universally appealing, we have to empathetically look at what these folks are actually feeling. The source material maps out the debilitating pathways of sciatica. This isn't just your standard dull backache. We're talking about sharp, shooting nerve pain traveling from the lower back straight down into the buttocks, radiating through the leg, and sometimes literally all the way to the feet. If you're tracking with this, you realize it's a total systemic interruption. It messes with how you walk, how you drive, basically how you exist in your own physical space.
And that brings us to the hidden culprit behind all those severe symptoms, the bulging disc. As defined here, it's one of the main causes of a pinched nerve in the lower back, where disc material physically presses outward. I want you to picture this. Between the hard bones of your spine, you've got these softer discs acting like little shock absorbers. When too much pressure hits them, the material inside pushes outward. It literally bulges out of its normal space. And the kicker? Right next door to that disc is a super sensitive nerve. When that outward bulge hits that nerve, boom, the sharp, shooting sciatica alarms start going off.
Okay, Section 3, how spinal decompression works.
So now that we've got a clear picture of the problem, that physical pressure is causing physical pain, let's logically break down the physics of the solution. Check out this mechanical chain reaction called spinal decompression. It's beautifully simple. Step 1, you lower the spinal disc pressure. You got to reverse that squeeze. Step 2, by lowering that pressure, you create a sort of vacuum effect, and the bulging material physically retracts. Step 3, with that material pulled back out of the way, the pinched nerve is finally freed. And Step 4, healing begins, meaning significantly less pain. It's a really straightforward cause and effect timeline that takes the mystery right out of back pain.
This takes us to Section 4, at-home healing strategy.
With those internal mechanics mapped out, how do you actually make this decompression happen in real life? Well, there's a major paradigm shift going on here. A lot of people here fix a bulging disc and immediately picture intense surgery, heavy meds, or those super expensive clinical decompression machines. But this specific content, it focuses entirely on at-home exercises. It's taking those clinical concepts we just walked through and translating them into movements you can literally do in your living room. It's an incredibly empowering concept, moving the power of relief off the operating table and right onto your living room floor.
Specifically, the source material distills all of this down to exactly 3 targeted exercises. Just 3. Think about how manageable that is. Instead of some daunting hour-long physical therapy routine, we're talking about 3 highly focused movements designed to drop that spinal disc pressure fast. Keeping the number that low is a real game changer because it makes a person in pain way more likely to actually try it instead of feeling overwhelmed by a massive list of requirements.
Finally, Section 5, a word of caution. Now, before you drop to the floor to try and decompress your own spine, we really need to set some strict boundaries about online medical advice. The Spine Care Decompression and Chiropractic Center itself includes this exact medical disclaimer, and it's absolutely crucial. They state the info is for informational purposes only, right? Because look, Every single human spine is uniquely different. A move that perfectly decompresses one person's disc could totally aggravate someone else's, depending on the exact angle and severity of their injury. So while this explainer is fascinating, it is never, ever a replacement for a qualified doctor looking at your actual MRI and giving you a real, personalized diagnosis.
So, I'm going to leave you with this question to ponder. Is understanding the mechanics of your spine the first step to finally finding relief? There are no magic cures out there for sure, but maybe visualizing and truly understanding that physical pressure inside your own back is the ultimate first step. When you know exactly why you hurt, and you understand what it takes to create space in your spine, you stop being a victim of mystery pain. You become an active, educated participant in your own recovery. So, does knowing the mechanics change how you view your pain? It is definitely something to think about.